Lady's husband is still a person of interest in her death, but nothing he says is enough to charge James Precht in the drowning of his wife back in 2006.
In May, Local 12 News was the first to report the FBI had identified the victim as Barbara Hess of Indian Hill. She was the daughter of a former Hamilton County judge. After we aired that story, it led to Precht's arrest on unrelated charges. Local 12's Deborah Dixon tells us what was said during and after Precht appeared in court today.
James Precht doesn't look like the man many remember. He had a prestigious job with Cincinnati Public Schools at one point and lived in Indian Hill with Barbie and their two daughters until they disappeared in the early 80s. He's in court today to plead guilty to disorderly conduct, reduced from the original charge of impeding his wife's death investigation by giving a fake name.
Mr. Precht has admitted guilt to a disorderly. He's not admitting that he gave any misleading or false information, of course.
Precht did talk to detectives for hours after they tracked him down in Corryville 3 weeks ago. When Precht talked to police, he did have a story to tell about the last time he saw Barbara in 2006. They happened to be by the river. It's not a story that makes a lot of sense, but it also doesn't add up to murder.
He is a person of interest in his wife's disappearance and death. He has yet to give a viable explanation as to what occurred.
Hamilton County Detective Brian Williams asked the judge to put Precht on probation to help keep track of him. Judge Brad Greenberg said that's not what probation is for. The maximum penalty for disorderly conduct is 30 days. Precht got 25. What are you going to do when you get out in 4 days? You going to stick around? I asked Precht about his daughters when he and Barbara left town in the 80s, owing hundreds of thousands of dollars. They ended up in California living a vagabond life. Eventually, they took the girls to an orphanage. Have you talked to the girls yet? Have you talked to them? Your girls? It's kind of a sad thing.
They're wonderful girls. You'll love them.
Daughters and the relatives who still live in town say they hadn't heard from the couple for decades, but they were here for years, even before Barbie drowned in 2006. Barbie, that's what he calls her. That's what all her friends from Indian Hill called her. And you know, when he's in court like that, kind of shuffling around, he seems a little squirrely. I don't think he's squirrely at all. I think he's squirrely like a fox.
In fact, he's highly educated.
He has a master's degree, he has a doctorate, and people tell me in Corryville, when he would have a cup of coffee, he would talk, but if you ask him about himself, it's like, I was with the CIA. So he's not talking about himself, his past. No one knew he was married. No one knew he had daughters. And he's got that plan. I think he's keeping with it.
That's interesting. He is an educator, or was anyway,
He was a supervisor at Cincinnati Public Schools, kind of a bigwig at the time.
Huh.
So
we'll stay on
a
it.
lot
Thanks,
of people
Deb.
know him, but yeah, we'll keep track of him.
Thanks very much.